is related to your sense of taste. The fire tattva is related to your sense of vision. The air element is associated with your sense of feeling through the skin and hands. And the ether tattva element is associated with what's left?
Yes. Smell. Yeah.
Smell is the earth element. Yeah, earth is smell. So ether is associated with your sense of hearing, as well as the organs that provide that experience. And in yoga they say that the senses are in the mind, therefore the tattvas are in the mind. When we did tattva shuddhi, we went from the earth element, dissolving them, each tattva into its cause of existence. So the final element was the ether element dissolving into ego. Do you remember that part? If you hadn't done the yoga nidra in tattva shuddhi. So the ego isn't what we conceive of in the West. It's that and more. The ego is the sense of I exist. So the word ego in Sanskrit is aham, kara. Aham means I. If you're structuring a sentence where you say I, like, I want, I go, it's aham. And then the vehicle of I-ness, kara, aham kara. Yeah? Like last night we did a chant and we said Satyam Sharanam Gacchami. Gacchami is I go. You don't have to say I because the ending, Gacchami, Ami indicates I. But you can put it there. You would say Aham Gacchami, I go. So here, in the sense of ego, we use that word I, and kara means the vehicle. Sometimes we translate that as I-ness, N-E-S-S. Yeah? That which constitutes the individual. The personality is part of that, because we express our I-ness through our personality. Yeah? Through our sense of ego. And that sense of ego dissolves into its cause, which is the higher mind, intuitive mind, higher self. You know when you just know something, you haven't had to read it, you haven't been told it, you just know. That's the higher mind, the higher intellect we call it. And we get that knowing because we're plugged into that which is beyond us, the transcendental. The higher mind is what feeds us the information. It's the conduit. It's the connection. And its cause is the unlimited, unmanifest energy that exists and everywhere in everything, and that energy is part and parcel of the unconditional consciousness. So we're going back, we're retracing our steps back from where we've come. But we're doing that with our mind. So sometimes the intellect kicks in and we think, oh, what's unconditional consciousness? We can't experience it with this mind. We have to let go of the ego and this mind to experience the transcendental, super consciousness they call it. And so tomorrow we'll have a look at the PowerPoint that shows you that information in a chart. Yeah? But the chart is one-dimensional. This is all coexisting simultaneously. Dimensions within dimensions. Like we know our physical body, and we know that we're thinking, The mind is in the mental dimension, the mind dimension. It's called kosha, manomaya kosha, the dimension of mind. But they're coexisting, those dimensions. The energy dimension's part and parcel of all of that. Yeah. And through the process of tattva shuddhi, we're taking ourselves back into that higher unconditional consciousness. The way I relate to it is, I think of unconditional love. We can have conditioned love, and that's easy to understand, yeah? We love someone because they do something for us, and oops, they're not doing it anymore, sorry, don't love you. That's conditional love. And we've all experienced that, and we'll continue to experience that. But the unconditional is, irrespective of what someone has done to you, you can still have love in your heart for that person. It's a big challenge, it's a big ask. And hopefully you've at least had one experience of that to understand what unconditional can be. So it is with consciousness. Our consciousness is conditioned when we're born. The minute we're born, our consciousness starts to be conditioned by our society, by our parents first of all, siblings. So we're all operating through conditioned consciousness. The purpose of any yoga practice, any meditation, is to take you to that unconditional state. So in Tantra it's known as Shiva, and in Vedic philosophy or Sankhya philosophy it's known as Purusha. Different words for the same thing. Different concepts also. Because when we try to understand with this limited mind, we put limitations on consciousness. Yeah? I would have said this analogy many times before, but I'll say it again because I think it's really wonderful. And when we see the full moon, we see the moon lit up, and that moonlight is catching on the leaves and on the water, and we say, look at the full moon and look at the moonlight. And we think, oh, this is magnificent and beautiful. Where has the moonlight come from?
The sun.
It's come from the sun. It's actually not moonlight. There's actually no such thing as moonlight. The moon itself is not self-effulgent. The moon is a piece of rock. Our minds are like the moon. Our minds are actually inanimate. The reason our mind lights up is because of that greater consciousness which reflects off the mind. Yeah? So that gives you an idea of what is conditional and what is unconditional, what is limited and what is all-pervasive, expansive, without limitation. And that's the purpose of tattva shuddhi, to take us through our coverings so that we come back to our emanation and where we've come from. And come back again. Not just to stay out there, come back again with that knowing, with that experience. In the middle of tattva shuddhi, if you're still with me, we did a purification process on Part Purush. There's a little guy in the left side of our abdomen. So the question was, why the left side? Left is like the unconscious mind, and so the front of the body is the conscious and the back of the body is the unconscious. Like when you see pictures of chakras, you see, light this way and light that way. The emanation from behind is unconscious, and this is conscious. This is past coming through to the present. And it's like that with the left and right sides of the body. The left, from one point of view, can be the feminine, from another point of view, right can be the masculine. But here in Tattva Shuddhi, the left is indicating the unconscious, and subconscious, unconscious, that which isn't seen. So what we're doing is we're personalising the negative attributes that are within us in the left side of our abdomen. We're personalising it in the sense of making it seem like a person, but we're not saying it's us. So it's not that person. Yeah. So we don't go into blaming. There's this guy here in the left side, and he's dark because it's the unconscious. You know, this isn't about black and white, and it's nothing about that, male or female. It's just what's there sitting in the unconscious. And so we go through this process of transforming Pap Purush. Pap in Sanskrit means sin, and Purusha means not necessarily man, it means consciousness. And so he's holding a shield and an axe. Fight or flight, yeah? Fight, flight. I know there's freeze and procreation, all sorts of other things there in the brainstem, but just literally fight and flight. This is what we do. And we transform the image through mantra. In the original text on Tattva Shuddhi, they tell you to breathe in through your left nostril while repeating the mantra. So you've got to bring your hand up. I find that a total distraction. I don't do that. You can do that mentally. I didn't incorporate the nostril breathing today because there was enough happening for you. but you know, you're meant to breathe in through the left nostril with the mantra Yam. Yam is the air element mantra of the Anahat chakra, and you see his whole demeanour changing. Yam, 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 yam. And then as you hold the breath, we didn't do that part, Pap Purush combusts. So this is the Ram mantra, Ram, 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 Ram. And as he combusts, then the body turns to ashes. Then comes the mantra Vam, which is the water element mantra, and nectar drips, or fluid drips onto the ashes. Vam, 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 Vam. He rolls up into a little ball of ash. And then Lam, the earth element, Lam, 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 turns into a golden egg. And then Hum, 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 the golden egg of light expands. So a bit like the final stage of your Kriya. So did anyone have any aversion to that part, just out of interest, or have anything weird happen? Everyone's laughing. Julie?
It felt very liberating
Yeah.
to dissolve the elements. It felt like I was free.
Yeah.
And then when you start to dissolve the negative, my left side of the body felt like,
Relief.
yeah,
Interesting.
it just felt like something was gone.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah. Did anyone else want to say anything about that? Shidana?
When I was focusing on the yellow square, it was like it almost wanted to be a yellow cube,
Yeah.
not a square.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did say 3-dimensional.
Oh, okay.
That's natural.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. That lack of consciousness,
Yeah.
or I should say actually the lack of intellectual,
Yeah.
is like a baby.
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah.
so when you say we go back,
Yeah.
we go back to being a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, because baby's consciousness is so expansive.
And it doesn't include
When it's first born, it hasn't been conditioned. The conditioning starts happening particularly when we learn language. So name and form kicks in. Yeah. The mind operates due to name and form. In Sanskrit, the words nama, rupa. You start to name things, banana, whatever, mum, dad, mama, dada, this sort of thing. This is when conditioning is really, what's the word I'm looking for, becoming entrenched, initiated.
Wouldn't it be right at birth?
Of course it's
Oh,
right
okay.
at birth, but the baby's mind's still expansive, and as the baby's growing, you see the consciousness coming in.
Like my kids.
Well, we were that too. Yeah. You see that in babies, don't you? They're just sort of looking
Some.
through these eyes, and these expansive eyes.
Do that.
Yeah.
I have a more practical question. I've never sat for that long, and I found it very challenging because I generally do a 24-minute meditation and then I move around. So do you have any hints? Like,
Stretch the legs.
so we can stretch
Move the legs down.
Because I did that, but I thought I wasn't sure that I was supposed to do if I was wrecking it. Like I was still
Yeah.
keeping the image.
Yeah, no, that's all right. In my experience, better to move the body. That's why I always say,
Okay.
if you're not comfortable, you've lost your asana. So come to a position that you're comfortable in, and again, you've got your asana. Yeah.
Thank you.
The only request I made was that if you need to go to the toilet, go, but please don't come back in because that'll spoil it for everyone else. That was all.
Is there a shorter version, or is it just this long version?
The shorter version is to not do the mantras in the beginning for so long. So we did so hum, we did, I had my mala, we did so hum, and that was actually for half a mala, it wasn't a full mala. We did each yantra, visualization and mantra for a whole mala. I was, as I said in the beginning, nam, nam, nam. So I did that myself, taking them around. So then you would do half a mala for the bija mantras and for the soham, that you quarter. So, you know, you put an extra whatever you want after 27 beads. That would shorten. That's what makes it longer. So we have an asana session soon, and we have, you know, the next few days to talk and discuss and say what we felt through our practice during this time. And at 4:30 I'm going through the Kriyas, and I will use the PowerPoint to show some of the images, like with Shambhavi, where we see the lotus flower. So I'll show those slides to help you with your imagery. So there are a few umbrellas there if you want to stretch your legs, walk into the washroom, and Padma will take you for your asana.
One more question.
Oh yes, please.
Regarding the tutorial at 4:30
Yeah.
with you, is it necessary that we all come?
No,
Don't we
this
all
one's
get
up to you. For the people
Okay.
who've just started, please come to that. And anyone else who wants to revise, refresh something, ask a question about something. But yeah, you have free time if you want at that stage.
And how long is that one?
We start at 4:30, dinner's at 6, so something in between that.
Okay.
That one's organic. You've got your block and you have them. If you touch it on there, I can make this if you want.
Sorry, I just have one question. I find the yoga nidra very, it's the most profoundly relaxing thing on the mind.
Yeah.
So with people with mental illness or challenges, a fragile mind, overwhelmed with the sensory world,
Yeah.
is it a very good thing to take people through yoga nidra?
It depends. going through.
Right.
So they might have their eyes open,
Yeah.
as an example. They might be looking at the ceiling, and you might be very careful, you will be very careful with the visualisation. Because we've done so much visualisation today, I said to you, let your mind see what it sees. Yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping connected with the body is really good. I'll be back at 4:30.
I'm going for the I'm coming back.
Oh, you're going in there?
I'm gonna go in back. But, okay, so you can move around and make yourself more small.
You don't know to that map.
Which,
Through map.
yeah, but